Hello. Today we are going to continue the chapter about the endogeneity problem. In the last lecture, I introduced why we have the endogeneity problem and what causes that problem and how to fix it. The main idea was that the endogeneity is the correlation between the error term and a variable in the regression equation. And how to fix it? The remedy to this problem is to have an additional variable from the outside. So usually the new variable is called the instrumental variable. So when you have an instrumental variable, and if that instrumental variable satisfies a few, like 2 or 3 conditions, depending on how you define, how you state those conditions, like relevance and exclusion assumptions. If those assumptions are satisfied, then you can identify the effect of the endogenous variable on the dependent variable. The example we considered, the simple example we considered in the last lecture was the interesting relationship between earnings and education and quarter of birth, which is very surprising. And so we would like to estimate the effect of education on earnings. If you take if you stay in school for another year, how much your wage will increase. But it is not easy to answer because from the data, highly educated people are not just on average people. So usually high education implies a higher average of the unobserved characteristics. So those correlation, the high education and the relationship between high education and high unobserved characteristics could cause bias. And one simple way to fix it is we needed an instrumental variable that affects education, but that does not affect the unobserved characteristics or nor the wage. So that was quarter of birth. We assume that quarter of birth has nothing to do with the baby's intelligence. Either it has no effect on the wage. Your employer does not care about when is your birthday, but it has some effect on education because of the how the mandatory compulsory schooling law is formulated. It's formulated so in a strange way. So if you are born in fourth quarter or the first quarter, so the law applies to you in a different way. So the instrumental variable can generate some interesting variation from the data. And that was just conceptual example, but still that's a very interesting example. And today I'm going to show you more examples about examples of the instrumental variables. The table is taken from 2001 Angrist and Kruger Journal of Economic Perspectives paper. So here they list some famous instrumental variables. Let's see some key examples. First, we would like to think about the relationship between the outcome and endogenous variable. So the dependent variable, the outcome, is earnings. Exactly the example we considered. Years of schooling has some effect on the earnings, but certainly years of schooling is endogenous. Then what can we use as the instrument? The answer is, so there are some interesting approaches. Like quarter of birth was what I introduced last time. It was used by Angrist and Kruger. and debit card used proximity to college. So that means if you are a high school and if you have a say state university right next to your town, then the cost, the expense to attend college is much lower than the case like when you compare to the case that you go to the college in say California or somewhere far from your home. So proximity of college, so card used may be the dummy variable that your county has a college, which will be a low cost option for you if you want to attend college. Then this will affect your college decision. It affects your education, but how close to where you live, or your home is close to college or not, has nothing much to do with your earnings or your intelligence. So you may, if you agree with that, then this is an interesting instrument. But at the same time, you may argue the opposite. So usually those who live around the college, or maybe more highly educated, something like so maybe their parents are professional people, so like professors or doctors, so they live like quite close to their college. So if that's the case, then proximity to college cannot be an instrument. It is not independent of the unobserved variable. But anyhow, it's used, and it's usually accepted by economists. So it's used. And another interesting example here is Duflo's, the youngest Nobel Prize winner. Duflo had a paper in 2001 using region and time variation in school construction. So if you say suppose that when you are 10 years old, and like when you are say 10 years old, suppose then the middle school or high school are quite far from your home, so you gave up. You did not attend middle school or high school because it's too far. But a few years later, suppose that a new high school was constructed in your town. Then if you compare yourself to say a similar person, like say your younger brother or younger sister who is in the same situation, then your sister or brother are more likely to attend high school because it's close to your house, so it takes less cost. However, so when the high school is constructed, is purely random. It has nothing to do with your earnings and your intelligence. So it satisfies the independence condition. So think about independence and relevance, or exclusion or relevance conditions. So that's what I explained here. And let's think about this. Birth weight. Outcome is birth weight, baby birth weight. And usually the heavier a baby is, then it's taken as a healthier baby. So the heavier, the healthier for newborn babies. And what we would like to estimate maternal smoking. If mother smokes, then what would be its impact on the baby's birth weight? Also, the maternal smoking is endogenous because smoking during the pregnancy may imply a lot of other adverse conditions, so the mother does not take care much about baby's health, so she is less likely to see a doctor, or less likely to take care of herself, or pay less attention to her well-being and her and baby's health. So those kind of unobserved characteristics are correlated with the decision to smoke during the pregnancy. So then we need to find an instrument that is related to the smoking decision, but has nothing to do with birth weight or the mother's attention to the baby, or mother's care about the health, well-being of the baby. So then interesting instrument is cigarette taxes. So if the state tax is high, then it has nothing to do with your baby or a mother's tendency, but taxes obviously have some effect on smoking decisions. I don't know, I don't smoke, so I don't know how high those taxes are, but it's quite clear, right? And alternatively, same topic has been studied. Same topic has been studied in a different context, and in this case, in another paper, in another work, the same problem has been studied using a different instrumental variable, which is random assignment of free smokers counseling. So you randomly choose. So you have like a set of random mothers, pregnant women, and you randomly choose some of them, randomly assign smoking counselors, like counsel how to quit smoking, and assign for free. Then that random assignment is random. So being random is really powerful in statistics. So it is random, so it has nothing to do with anything else. So it's random, so by definition, it is uncorrelated with anything else. But the random assignment can result in a change in the decision of smoking decision. So the smoking decision may be affected by those assignment. So relevance is okay, and by the definition of randomness, definition of how the assignment is generated, independence is automatically satisfied. So like this, you may have a look at those examples, and it's like there are many interesting examples. Maybe later I may have like chance to talk a little more, especially if you see some like famous names like Angrist, Duflo, Card, Angrist, Imbens, Kruger, Angrist. Those names are the major players in this literature. So like Kruger is also very famous here. So like I introduced you to show you that how researchers find instrumental variables and how they are used in relevant, important topics. Okay, I will go back to my lecture note in the next video and see you there. Bye.